Well, all right, everybody. I feel like this is actually very thematically appropriate coming off of the last segment we did, the tipster versus Augie and Bo Black's debate of sorts. You see, I've kind of been getting a little bit more into covering the sort of EdgeTube adjacent drama, the stuff going on in the drama community and the commentary community, and this is also a big part of it. You see, a little while ago, one of Mr. Beast's team members, Chris, a very close friend of Mr. Beast, came out as trans, and Mr. Beast came out as pro-trans. And this resulted in a very large content creator that I already disliked, named SunnyV2, making a horrible video attempting to capitalize off of the anti-trans hate that is completely unfounded against Chris from Mr. Beast's team. And this got everybody dunking on SunnyV2, right? Like, everybody was dunking on SunnyV2 except for conservatives. And it was literally one of those moments where it's like that one YouTuber you hate for being cringe and annoying finally, like, does something that morally, like, justifies your hatred for them. You know, it was one of those moments, right? And since then, the internet has finally woke up to the plight of goddamn SunnyV2 clones. All right, they are everywhere and they are awful, but they also have a fair amount of crossover with EdgeTube. They basically toe the same line of cultural talking points on the internet that EdgeTube does, or at least that EdgeTube kind of establishes and pushes. So we're going to be covering a video today that talks about a whole other section of this kind of discourse and drama, and that is the hatred around Ethan Klein, okay? We're going to be covering a video by another SunnyV2 clone called Who Is, who made a video called The Tragedy of YouTube's Worst Creator, Ethan Klein. And we've got this absolutely glorious thumbnail, and then it's like a bunch of, like, canceled, goddamn. What a thumbnail. Anyway, this video seems like it's going to be some good meme fodder, so let's just get right on into it.
A polarizing YouTuber that the internet loves to hate, bombarded with controversy.
Wow, I will admit, I said this person was a SunnyV2 clone, and I knew they were a SunnyV2 clone just based off of the thumbnail. I did not know it was going to be this explicit, because this is just, like, just whacking you over the top of the head with how much of like an aping of SunnyV2's bit this is. Even the fake British accent is there. The dramatic music, the like over exaggeration of everything. It's all there.
Ethan Klein's journey to online fame came with its consequences, leading to numerous bans and backlashes related to racism, anti-Semitism, and homophobia, eventually becoming an example of how taking edgy humor and bad opinions too far can ruin one's career. But who is Ethan Klein, and what are the reasons for his infamy? Before getting into the nitty-gritty of things, let's look at the man himself.
I'm a YouTuber with a flawless reputation.
Listen, you know what? Before we start dunking on this guy, okay? Before we start dunking on this guy, can we at least give him credit for the fact that he is engaging commentary? Like, he isn't boring, he isn't, like, mumbling, and he, at the very least, his fake accent isn't, like, boring to listen to, like SunnyV2's is. I'll give him credit for that. I'm big enough of a man to give him credit for that. I'll give credit where credit is due.
Ethan Klein is an online content creator and podcaster with millions of followers on both social media and YouTube. Ethan was born on June 24th, 1985 in California. During his college years, the soon-to-be YouTuber suffered from anxiety disorders. In order to take his mind off things and explore his Jewish heritage, he decided to take a trip to Israel, during which he met his now wife, Hila Klein.
I didn't know what compelled me, but I felt like that was an appropriate time to approach you. Something about the Holocaust Museum was just like, this is appropriate.
Yeah.
This is the right time to say what up.
Yep.
After becoming extremely close to one another, Ethan convinced Hila to move to California with him, and soon, the couple started living together in a cheap apartment.
So I decided to just come here.
So your world trip was come move in with some fucking weirdo from the internet. From the beginning, we both had nothing, but what little we had, we shared in the same bank account out of just straight necessity. And I think we were teamed up. From that first minute, we were like teamed up, boy.
In 2011, Ethan and Hila started their online careers by creating their first YouTube channel under the name H3H3 Productions. With no money in their bank and edgy humor on their mind, the duo started making content based on critiquing and reacting to polarizing videos in their own unique, stylish ways, eventually making them stand out among other commentary channels. The channel started gaining a reputation for critiquing internet trends.
Guys, have you ever given a homeless person $1 and had a friend hide in the bush and film it and then put it on the internet so you could make like $10,000? Well, that is a phenomenon that's been going on YouTube a lot. And I'm starting to think that it's not about the dollar.
So one thing you're going to start to notice about this video is it's not going to make any actual arguments. At least not until the very end, when it tries to... Basically, what it's going to do for now is pad the video length for a bit, and then it's going to start trying to set up a narrative. The idea that Ethan Klein built his beloved, extremely, dedicated, loyal fan base that made him who he is today on a certain type of content, and then he forsook that type of content, and then he started denigrating the people who were once his fans. That is what this video is going to claim, and it's going to basically try to create a narrative about how he went woke without outright saying it. These videos have a tendency to say a lot without actually saying anything, A lot of words, not a lot of actual substance.
On the range of online personalities which amassed a large following in return.
Did you notice his pants matched his nipples?
That's true.
I don't know if you knew that because you're colorblind, but your pants match your nipple. That's kind of worth pointing out to the guy. The poor guy never knew.
The channel began popping off faster than the duo anticipated. From there, the duo started to expand their reach in the online atmosphere and created a second channel called H3 Podcast on Twitch. The podcast began with conversational interviews with notable internet personalities such as Joe G, Post Malone, and Jake Paul. Along with that, the duo grew even more when Hila started the Teddy Fresh brand, which achieved massive success and exposed the content creators' work to an even wider audience. The H3 brand reached heights that many content creators can only dream of reaching. Furthermore, viral hits like Vape Nation and Unique Podcasts attracted millions of viewers throughout the internet, all while creating a die-hard fan base that would defend the couple no matter what. No one could stop the...
He's not wrong so far, though none of this is, in any way, there's no compelling argument being made here, or there's no compelling, point being made here that hasn't been made anywhere else, basically. Nothing that's being said here isn't very common YouTube knowledge that could have just been, everybody knows this shit so far. This has just got to be set up. Or padding for the video length, I'm assuming, because this person's very clearly... just trying to gobble up the clout, right?
The rapid growth of Ethan's empire, except himself. As over the years, Ethan began developing a reputation for being one of the most polarizing content creators on YouTube. Since 2016, Ethan has been beefing with online creators like Keemstar, Leafy is here, Some Ordinary Gamers, and Trisha Paytas. One of the most notable online conflicts was with Keemstar, which lasted for almost 3 years. In May 2020, Ethan posted a video titled Content New Keemstar. In the video, Ethan calls out Keemstar's various feuds and controversies, even showing clips from his YouTube channel and tweets as receipts.
You said to Augie this is going to be a big story that Keemstar doxed Destiny. I doxed Destiny. Where is the big story? Yeah, I dox people all the time.
As well as alleging that Keemstar made false felony fraud allegations against Klein.
Here we are back at the beginning of our video, where Keemstar was just accusing me of a felony fraud.
But ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you that Ethan Klein is a liar!
After the video was posted, both content creators lost their brand sponsors, and Ethan began getting strikes on his official YouTube channel. Yet, the war continues as the duo has been seen arguing back and forth on Twitter. Who would have thought that critiquing others would result in them fighting back? But it seemed like online conflicts weren't the only things that Ethan was a target of.
So we've got, like, the Keemstar simping here, I guess. Like, is there, like, any actual, like, compelling takedown of Ethan's content nukes on Keemstar? Because, like, it really just seems like people just, like, decided they hate H3H3 more than Keemstar now, so they decided the arguments he made in that video weren't valid. When, from what I remember, it was a very compelling chain of videos. And the receipts added were pretty numerous, from what I recall.
As throughout his career, Ethan has been called out for taking edgy humor too far. This came to light in September 2019, when Ethan called out famous YouTuber PewDiePie for using the N-word during a live stream.
I don't think Felix is a racist person, but god damn, he really kind of just was really comfortable using that word. That really just kind of... like you're reaching for all these words, right? And you're like, oh, let me just like a little N-bomb for you. I mean, I know this is a point a lot of people say, but it certainly seems like that's not the first time he's used that word in that context.
In the community's perspective, both YouTubers were friends at one point, which led to many calling Ethan out for being a backstabber and a hypocrite for using the N-word himself.
So, it's just been around the block.
Yeah.
Everyone's just been borrowing it from each other.
It's just a wonderful string of words that really gets you going. I love that.
He said a slur.
This led to people leaving comments like, I'm a big fan, Ethan, but come on, you just...
So, the funny thing to me is that the argument isn't that Ethan saying those slurs was bad, because that's literally not what what this person's complaining about or what anybody's complaining about. They don't have an issue with those clips. What they have an issue with is that H3H3 was once like that, grew out of it, and is no longer like that. And so they're playing the clips as like, oh, well, you're a hypocrite because you used to be like this. It's like, well, he's not anymore, you know? Like, is that not, living to your principles?
Used the N-bomb last April. What a great way to benefit of your friend's mistake. Great job, Ethan. Keep it up. But it seemed like the internet wasn't done with Ethan just yet, as the YouTuber would again become a target of cancel culture. In December of the same year, when he called the BTS fanbase having a gay twink fetish.
I hate K-pop. I don't get BTS.
K-pop?
They look like they're just a bunch of... How did this become a thing in Western culture where all these grown men and little girls are jerking off to little K-pop boys? It's like a little fetish. It's like a little twink gay fetish about these K-pop boys.
This response led to the hashtag H3H3IsOverParty start trending on Twitter, which had many people calling out Ethan for his homophobic remarks. But on the other hand, many fans stood beside Ethan and defended his comments by saying it was just edgy humor which got out of hand. By observing the volatile and careless behavior of Ethan Klein, we asked the questions.
The volatile and careless behavior of Ethan Klein. Doesn't this dude literally still, he's still massive. Like, I literally saw him live streaming his podcast the other day. Do you know how many live viewers that motherfucker had watching his podcast? Just a random episode of his podcast that he does. It's just him, I think. It wasn't even the one he does with Hassan. He had 30,000 plus people watching him live. I didn't know that he had, that much of an active audience. That he has not fallen off by any means to be getting 35,000 plus people watching him on a live stream, and he still gets millions of views on videos, and usually no less than a few 100,000, right? So he's still quite big, and he still runs a media empire with or not a media empire, a business empire with his Fresh and Fit shit. Not Fresh and Fit, sorry, Teddy Fresh. I literally have always confused those names up in my head for so long, Teddy Fresh and Fit. But yeah, I don't think he's been erratic or careless. I think he's just at one point when he was younger, he was making, and it was more generally acceptable online in internet culture. In fact, it was rewarded in internet culture to be super edgy and offensive and whatnot. He was doing that, and he grew out of it, and he doesn't anymore. And they're mad about that. They're mad he doesn't say slurs anymore. Oh, fuck. I didn't press play.
Humor and controversial takes jeopardize the H3 brand, or is Ethan just another comedian who became a victim of cancel culture? There aren't many people that survive cancel culture nowadays, with many losing their careers over decade-old jokes. But what makes Ethan Klein so special?
There aren't many who survive cancel culture anymore. Are you serious, dude? Cancel culture is like the biggest fucking meme. As long as... Okay, if you can handle cancellations well, cancel culture is like not as big of a deal as these people make it out to be. God damn. Like, and I hate that I have to like... Because there is an issue with like canceling and it can go too far. But I hate how much these people overtalk it, because then it makes like any criticism of like how cancel happy, particularly the left, can be online, seem like I'm part of this group. And God, I hate these people. Oh, fish and kill. Nice.
Is the fact that he has been an exemplary figure when it came to protecting content creator rights, making him fall under the good graces of many online communities. In April 2016, Mad Husseinzada, an American YouTube personality who goes by Mad Husszone, fired a civil action against the YouTuber for copyright infringement in a video on the H3 Productions channel.
Wait, you mean the lawsuit that was a precedent-setting win for H3 that literally set a precedent for copyright fair use on YouTube, that like literally the entire YouTube community got behind them on? They were literally making fun of like a shitty prank YouTuber who fakes his videos, and they're trying to claim that like the H3 prank YouTuber lawsuit made them look bad. What?
But Ethan stood his ground and justified his video featuring Haas by calling it fair use.
We are being sued by Bull.
Is he gonna take their side or what?
Matt Haas Zone. And he says, remove it, never talk about me again or this situation, and pay me $4,000.
After posting a video addressing the lawsuit was released by H3 Productions, the internet stood by the H3 crew's side, and many content creators showing their support. Even fellow YouTubers like Philip DeFranco started a fundraiser on GoFundMe to help raise money for the Kleins' legal fees, citing the need to protect fair use on YouTube.
I found out about the situation, I started a GoFundMe, the community just came together.
I like how we are now 8 minutes out of 12 into this video, and this video is, and I quote, is called, and I quote, let me grab that title. What's that video called? The Tragedy of YouTube's Worst Creator, Ethan Klein, is the name of this video. The Tragedy of YouTube's Worst Creator.
Raised so much money for their legal fees, and then of course they had to go through the just ridiculously long process of fighting it out. And I'll say now what I said then, I didn't do it just because like I'm just such a great guy. This was an immensely important fair use case. If they lost, it meant horrible shit for everyone else.
Eventually, Ethan and Hila won the case and dedicated $130,000 to any content creator who was facing similar legal issues. But this lawsuit was just an appetizer for what Ethan was about to face in the future, as in May 2021, Triller's founder Ryan Kavanaugh sued the H3 podcast for showing clips of Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight, alleging copyright infringement.
And Mr. Kavanaugh run a Ponzi scheme. Excuse me, I never fucking said that. Your ex-business partner's the one that said that, buddy.
As reported in Variety magazine, a leading trade paper in the entertainment industry.
Excuse me, fucker. I never said that you run a Ponzi scheme.
The lawsuit became even more heated
this
when
supposed
Ethan
to make
fought
Ethan
back by
look
hiring
bad?
his own legal team, making Triller file 4 separate lawsuits in return. During the legal battle, Ethan
this
became
supposed to make
popular as
Ethan
the
look bad?
underdog, fighting against Hollywood elites like Ryan Kavanaugh, protecting online creator rights once again. With this display of dedication, many people throughout the internet supported Ethan's fight and cheered him on till the...
By the way, isn't it wild that the internet's bias is so blatantly conservative that you can expel and just throw out this much goodwill in the internet, like, culture's mind just by, like, growing out of, like EdgeTube culture and becoming more, like, progressive? Like, you can literally destroy that much goodwill, having done that much for the, like, precedent-setting shit for content creators in the entire online culture. and still they'll turn on you because you like went woke or whatever. It's so wild how like fickle the support is. Like if Sam Hyde tomorrow came out as like a leftist, most of his audience would probably like disown him, and it would be a whole new like iDub situation. That's how you know that Sam Hyde isn't like just a like legit troll who's dedicated to the bit, because if he was, he would troll as like a lefty every once in a while, or at least once.
The very end. As of now, the H3 crew has won 2 out of the 4 lawsuits, with others being delayed, showing that they won't back down from a fight no matter how much it costs. But it seemed like Ethan can't stop jeopardizing his own good reputation, as he has once again fallen back into his old ways, making edgy humor and spewing controversial opinions on his podcast. The year 2022 was exceptional for Ethan, as he targeted multiple online celebrities and made tasteless jokes that landed him in hot waters once again. In April of the same year, Ethan made fun of James Charles's sexuality.
If he's getting blasted in the ass hard enough, potentially, you may need to wear a diaper, or maybe it's for his boyfriend.
And going even further to pressure a gay viewer into revealing his sexual preference.
Do you find it offensive if I say by being like, oh, he's probably...
Remember, guys, these videos' whole thing is about taking, like, every drama a content creator has ever been through and spinning it as, like, spinning a narrative out of it, right? Because it can't just be, like, a content creator, like, does a bunch of stuff where they upload themselves to the internet, and every once in a while they're going to make mistakes, because that's what happens when you upload your life to the, like, internet for people to scrutinize. No, it has to be, there needs to be a story. There has to be, like, a narrative that can be, this has to be narrativized into something. There has to be a moral that he can push at the end of all of this. And there really is none. At the end of the day, like, Ethan Klein's a live streamer. He's clearly pretty progressive, but he made some pretty edgy jokes and some pretty out-of-pocket comments more, like, back then. Or, like, I say back then as in, like, a year ago, I think. But, like, this isn't some great downfall story. At least it doesn't really seem to be, considering how big Ethan Klein still is online. It's mostly conservatives that hate him.
Probably a bottom, is that the problem? Can I guess what is your preference?
You can.
Will you tell me if it's right, if I guess right?
This interaction led to many disappointed fans leave comments like, "This segment was insanely uncomfortable and out of pocket. Man, I felt bad for that caller.
That's what I
All
said.
around disappointed in you guys. Missed the days when this wasn't a drama channel." After the backlash, Ethan posted an apology on his Twitter dedicated to the caller and all his LGBTQ+ fans. But that's not all, as his edgy humor would cross the line 2 more times in the same year, making jokes about bombing the NRA and hoping that if another Holocaust happens, Ben Shapiro would be the first one to get.
There it is. The narrative has been spun, chat. There it is, chat. There's the narrative. So we start off by basically padding for time and going over, like, the same shit that everybody already knows, and then we bring in the narrative that Ethan Klein has not only gone woke, but he's actually a hypocrite in his wokeness. I told you where this was headed. That it was gonna end up trying to come together for an overall narrative to push this, like, anti-woke idea somehow.
Get gassed.
I just say, if they start rounding up the Jews again, I hope Ben gets gassed first. Or last.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Really not to speak.
Off the
If
rails
I
is
speak,
Wednesday.
I'm in big trouble.
Can I not say that?
Yes.
In
You
big
can't.
trouble.
Oh my God.
What am I
on
gonna,
one today.
What am I gonna? I can't. I'm not doing anything. I'm part of the.
Also,
I'm
Ethan
getting
Klein
gassed.
is Jewish.
This response from Ethan resulted in a podcast being taken down by YouTube.
That joke is literally no different, by the way, than, like, a trans woman saying, fuck, if they do the trans genocide and they start gassing us or whatever, I hope they get Blair White first. Like, there's literally no difference between the two things there, like, in terms of, like, cancelability. Like, Ben Shapiro's literally said that Palestinians, or not even Palestinians, actually, I think he was broad. I don't even think he talked about people of a certain nationality. He talked about the ethnic group of, like, he talked about literally everybody in the like Arabs as like a broad group, you know, like I forget what he said exactly, but it was like something about sewage and filth, and it was very nasty. Okay, it was very nasty and very hateful. Yeah, I think he said Arabs. Thank you. Yeah, he wasn't even like specific about a nationality. He was talking about an like an ethnic group.
And tearing the H3 fanbase apart. Some defending his anti-Semitic jokes because he's Jewish himself, and some calling him out for going too far. Even after so many controversial events and backlashes, one would assume that a person is going to tone down the intensity of edginess and start a new clean path. But as of 2023, Ethan is still making headlines for his polarizing antics and apologizing afterwards, like he always does. But by looking into the controversial history of Ethan Klein, we wonder, are his controversies a part of his nature, or are they just marketing stunts for him, trying to stay relevant in the online atmosphere?
I'll let you decide. Oh, did the video literally just end there? Is that where the video ends? It literally ends right there, like with a question, so you can comment down below and increase his SEO. That's nice. God, I'm telling you, we're going to see an even larger rise in these like dime a dozen. Yeah, the editing is good, but other than that, it is just a padded out, grifting, like narrativizing drama content that just rehashes old shit from years ago. It's irrelevant now. Like, that's literally all this shit is. And it's going to get more and more popular when people realize what an easy, like, cash grab it is. Because, like, you have to understand, there have been YouTubers who have been, cataloging all of this drama for a very long time. All you have to do to make a video like this is just write a script from information that is already very well, like, digestible and, like, gathered together for you to consume. Make your own script that sounds more original, and you've got one of those videos. You just gotta throw in some good editing, and frankly, you can probably pay an editor to do the editing. And so you don't even have to have the talent there, right? So, like, these people are just going to be a dime a dozen very soon. I think SunnyV2 and people like him are really just the beginning of like a new age of sort of pseudo-conservative propaganda content that you're going to see a lot of in the future. It is very cringe.